So, speaking of SummerSlam, we have my SummerSlam predictions for 2016. And the SummerSlam card has a plethora of matches, 11 to be exact, if my counting is correct. So, let's get into it, I guess. Some matches that I think, will be on the undercard. I'll start with Cesaro against Sheamus. I think Cesaro gets the victory here. Like I said, it's a best-of-7 series, so it doesn't really matter who wins this, but I think that they go with the babyface for this show. Mostly because I have a lot of heels winning this. Winning this on the SummerSlam card. But, obviously you need, your fair share of heels and faces winning so that the whole card isn't a dud or it isn't a bunch of baby faces winning all day. So, but I have Cesaro winning this first match. Next up, Roman Reigns against Rusev for the United States title. On the contrary to popular belief, I do not think Roman Reigns will win this U.S. title. I think maybe he'll get the victory. I don't know, but somehow Rusev will find a way to keep his title. If that means he gets disqualified, which is the most likely scenario, then that's what it is. But I don't think Roman's winning the U.S. title. There's no way, in my opinion, that they'll do that because even though he is demoted to the undercard, I don't think that they will give him the U.S. title because that isn't the guy that they've been building Rusev up for to beat. If that makes any sense. Rusev has been booked to be this super strong champion and yada, yada, yada. And they didn't do that whole, shindig of him being the champion and being this big, strong guy to just lose to Roman Reigns, who a month ago wasn't even in the picture of the U.S. Championship. He was in the picture more or less of the world title, and I still think he's there. I think this is just, a test of how he can handle a program, after the little suspension that he's had. But I think he's still going to be in the world title picture, sooner rather than later. And I don't think him holding the U.S. title, just think about it. He's going to have the U.S. title, and then what? Who the hell's going to feud with Roman Reigns for the U.S. title? Unless they have another rematch with Rusev. It doesn't make much sense. So I think Rusev's going to keep that championship. Roman might get the victory, but he's not getting the championship. One way or another, Rusev's going to keep the title. That's one heel down. So next up, we have the team of Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens, or as some people like to call them, Jericho, against Big Cass and Enzo Amore. Now, it makes sense, given the fact that Enzo and Cass are an actual tag team that could actually go for the tag titles. It makes sense for them to beat Jericho, but I think Jericho and Kevin Owens are going to get the victory here. I think it's going to be by shenanigans, obviously, some dastardly heel tactic or whatever. But if you just think about, the two teams, how they stack up together, as strong as they're making Big Cass look, Enzo is not in the league of Jericho or Kevin Owens. And that was shown even when Enzo faced Jericho in a one-on-one match on Raw. They're not really, booking Enzo to look that strong unless he's next to Big Cass. So just if you take the two pieces and separate them, you can just, Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, who's a former world champion, and Kevin Owens, who's being booked to be, one of the stronger guys on the Raw roster. I just don't see them losing this match. And Enzo and Cass, if they lose, in my opinion, it's not that big of a deal because, they'll still feud for the tag titles, and since they're so great on the mic, it'll make up for any losses that they have in the ring. So I don't see this hurting them at all, that they get the loss, so that's why I give them the loss. It's not a big deal. Another heel down. That's two heels. Next match for the Intercontinental Championship, The Miz against Apollo Crews or Apollo Creed, whatever your preference is. Either way, I think that The Miz retains the title. I think Apollo Crews hopefully puts on a great show. That's what I would love to see, but I just don't think that they believe in him enough for him to be ready to have a championship, especially something as prestigious as the Intercontinental Championship. I think he needs to prove himself a little bit more before they give him a title like that. And this match is a means to do that. Hopefully he has a great match with The Miz, which is hard to have a great one-on-one match with The Miz. Just ask John Cena at the main event of WrestleMania 27. But, if he can pull off the impossible and have a great match, I'm sure that he'll have very highly sought-out feuds going forward. And that's the goal, I guess. But like I said, I think The Miz, Again, it's kind of like the thing with Rusev. They've built up The Miz as this heel champion. He's not as strong as Rusev, obviously, champion-wise. But, he's held the title for quite a while, and I think that they're going to really prolong his championship reign just to have the right guy beat him at a big show. And I don't think that right guy is Apollo Crews, at least not yet. But, again, eventually Rusev and The Miz, they'll both find that right guy that they need to win their championships from them. But I don't think Roman or Apollo Crews are those guys right now. So I go with The Miz. The next match, the Women's Championship match between Charlotte and Sasha Banks. I don't think the heel's going to win this one. I think Sasha's going to win full throttle. It'd be cool to see. I mean, the only way I can see Charlotte winning is an interference from Ric Flair himself, which would be cool. It's SummerSlam. It'd be cool to see Ric. But I think there's more going forward. I think there's more of an eye on keeping Sasha with the title because, at first I had said that I thought Charlotte was going to win. But thinking about it a little bit more in depth, if Charlotte wins that title, besides a rematch with Sasha, who else do they have on that roster that is a big baby face that could go against Charlotte? I was just naming off some of the women on that roster, and now that Paige is suspended, I 100% don't think that Charlotte's going to win because I thought, if anything, the only person that Charlotte could feud with was Paige, even though they've already done that. But if they did need a babyface, Paige definitely could be that person. But, now that Paige is gone, they really don't have a good babyface to go against Charlotte. Charlotte would just be holding that title and holding it and holding it and holding it for who knows who comes up. Maybe Bayley will come up or whatever. But other than Bayley coming up on that roster, Charlotte wouldn't have anybody else to feud with other than Sasha again. So it makes sense for Sasha to keep the title because Sasha could feud with Charlotte again. She could feud with Dana Brooke. She could feud with Nia Jax, which I think would be the most likely scenario. But I think Sasha keeps the title. It'll be a good feel-good moment. And going forward, I think it makes more sense for her to keep it than for Charlotte to win it back. Next matchup, we have The New Day against The Club for the Tag Team Championships. The New Day are the longest reigning Tag Team Champions in WWE history. And The Club, I think, will come out with the victory here, whether it's by shenanigans or whatever. But, The New Day lost an integral piece of their team in Big E, and it's going to be Xavier and Kofi Kingston. And I think right there, unless Big E makes a surprise return and helps them out in a big way, they wouldn't have Big E, get taken out like that if they weren't going to have the New Day lose their titles. Because the New Day, as a three-man team, when their tag titles are on the line, obviously they've been very good. So for them to have the numbers advantage and still lose as baby faces wouldn't make much sense, which is why they had to take one of the guys out. So now that they took Big E out, the numbers are even, and it'd be more realistic to see a heel team win. So I think the Club gets the titles. I had said the Club, I wanted them to get the titles a long time ago, but I guess they wanted the New Day to beat that record first before they had them lose it. So they beat the record, and now, they can do the right thing and have the Club get a run with the championships and have have the New Day have another chance with it, or some other tag team on Raw have an opportunity to take those titles from the Club. But I think it'd make them look really strong, which is something that they need at this point. So it'd be good to see them with the titles. We also have 6 women tag team match, 3-on-3, with Team Becky Lynch, Carmella, and who's the third one? Naomi, against Team Eva Marie. That's what I wanted to call it, with Eva Marie, Alexa Bliss, and Natalya. So I have a lot of heels winning, so I want to go a different route this time and have Team Babyface win this match. I don't think it matters too much who wins, but it'd be cool to see Team Becky win. And even though Becky Lynch already did get the victory on SmackDown against Natalya, I think another member of her team, whether it's Carmella or Naomi, most likely Naomi, will get the pin this time. And it'd be a good thing to see the babyfaces get a victory on SmackDown. So now we have the 3 biggest matches on the card left. We have the WWE Championship, Dean Ambrose against Dolph Ziggler. I have Dean Ambrose winning this. This one was the hardest one for me to pick, more or less. It was a toss-up, and it was a toss-up to me because, like I said, I had a lot of heels winning, and even though this is a rare face-to-face type match, that makes it a lot more interesting and a lot harder to pick, in my opinion. And I figured, Ziggler had a very good opportunity or a very good chance of winning because of the fact that if Raw decided to go with Finn Balor and give him the Universal title, that's a big move and something that will shake up the whole wrestling industry and be very interesting to watch Raw week by week now. So what could SmackDown do to counter that? They could have Ziggler win the WWE title against Dean. And then that would make SmackDown, wow, Ziggler just won the championship. That's amazing. What are they going to do with him next week? Are they going to have a rematch, or, are they going to wait for the next pay-per-view? Then people start getting their eyes on the product. So that's why I could see Ziggler winning this match. I could definitely see Ziggler winning this match. If he does it, it won't surprise me. But I think that Dean Ambrose is their guy, like they said, and they do want to give him a long run with the championship. So this is why I'm picking Dean. But, if Ziggler wins, this will be the most interesting match because I think that this one is the biggest toss-up of all. We also have the Universal Championship on the line for Raw between Seth Rollins and Finn Balor to crown the first ever WWE Universal Champion. This is tough, man. This one, it's not as tough as Ziggler and Dean, but this one is tough because it's frustrating. It's not as tough for me to pick. I want 1,000%, as I'm sure everyone does, to want to see Finn Balor get that title, but I just don't see them doing it. I don't. I see them, the way they're already booking, it's the same type of booking they've done, before the new era, and now they're doing it the same way now. So what in my mind has changed on Raw for me to think that they're going to all of a sudden change things up and have Seth Rollins lose to this guy, Finn Balor, and have Finn Balor be the champion? I don't see it. I want Finn Balor to win 1,000%. But in my professional opinion, I think Seth Rollins is going to win, and he's going to be the man, and blah, 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 blah. And he's going to be the little champion that's a tweener, not a heel, not a babyface. He's going to be the tweener champion. It's going to be really awkward. It's going to be the same old crap. I really hope not, but that's what I think. I think Seth Rollins is going to win. Maybe that's me doing some reverse psychology. Maybe they'll go with someone else because of what I said, but then again, I don't know. But hopefully Finn Balor gets that victory. But if I had to pick somebody, I would pick Seth Rollins. Now we have the two matches that are big in their own right, but not for any championship titles. We have AJ Styles going against John Cena, the face of the company, in their rematch of their match at Money in the Bank, I believe. And I think John Cena's getting the victory here. He's going to get his win back. AJ Styles won at Money in the Bank by cheating nonetheless, but he still did win. So I think Cena gets his victory back, and he's going to win this one. This one would be the biggest shocker, in my opinion. If AJ Styles did win, I'd be so happy to see that. But, this is politics. Cena's going to get the victory here. It's not going to kill AJ's momentum. At least I don't think so, as long as he stays away from Cena while he's on SmackDown from now on, and he does something else, doing his own thing elsewhere. But, Cena's going to get the victory, stay strong like he's supposed to, and AJ will put on a great match, so he won't lose too much momentum from losing this match, so it's not that big of a deal. And the biggest fight, one of the biggest SummerSlam matches of all time, according to WWE, Randy Orton against Brock Lesnar. This one's pretty easy for me. I see Brock Lesnar winning this one very easily. Randy Orton and Brock have had very good back and forth banter on Raw and SmackDown throughout the course of the last 3-4 weeks. But I think eventually Brock Lesnar's going to win. Don't be surprised to see an RKO. I mean, actually practically bet on it. And it'd be cool to see an RKO from an F5. See an F5 get reversed into an RKO, which is a move that I think is possible. They could definitely do that. So that'd be cool to see. And Brock will probably kick out of that, as amazing as that would seem. And, Brock will eventually get the victory. But I think this is going to be a really, really good match. I think as much as their styles differ, I think they're veterans enough to they're established and they're veteran and they've had so much ring experience enough to where they can mesh their styles to have a great match together. So I believe that that'll be the case, and but Brock Lesnar will come out with the victory there, and that'll be the end of SummerSlam. So that's how I see SummerSlam going. A lot of more heels than I thought would win, but there's a chance for a lot of great surprises. Like I said, the Dean and Ziggler match. the Brock and not the Brock match, the AJ Styles and Cena, as well as Finn and Rollins. Those would be 3 matches that I'm really looking forward to watching, only because, I'm not too sure who's going to win those, but those are a toss-up to me. And a toss-up that's pretty important, not just a toss-up like, oh, yeah, who's going to win, Eric Rowan or Jey Uso, a toss-up that actually means something very, very important. So, we'll see what happens at SummerSlam, but it'll definitely be an interesting show, and it's definitely a must-watch.